A very good morning to you on this 11th day of September. If you've joined us, then you have joined the fifth connection, where we take our time to talk through the storyline of the scriptures. And this morning we are in Ephesians chapter 3, talking through the storyline of what novelty looks like. That's how chapter 3 starts out, from novelty to custody, from that which is new that the Apostle Paul received. It was the uncovering of a sacred secret. This newness was in his custodianship. He was a steward of the mystery of this aspect of the plan of God. And what was that aspect of the plan of God? Jew-Gentile union in one body. And now he's going to move from the custody of that mystery to entreaty, because he gets into a prayer in chapter 3 and verse number 15. When you look at how the book breaks down, the first 3 chapters have to do with the assembly plan, while the second 3 chapters have to do with the assembly prompts. The plan for the assembly in chapters 1, 2, and 3, because reality flows with destiny. It is heading somewhere. In chapter 2, reality flows with vitality. It is alive and well. And then in chapter 3, reality flows with novelty. And this is where we land in the biblical text, because now the writer is going to unpack what expressing attentive awareness is all about. Attentive awareness. Now, what is attentive awareness? Well, he is going to talk through the issue of how that paying attention is a moral act. How is it a moral act? Well, because the moment we attend to something, our values hierarchy changes. And that's where the morality lies. We rearrange our thinking, our concentration, our focus from that which is most important on the saliency landscape to that which is less important. And so when we attend to something, as Ian McGilchrist says, we change the world. Attention changes the world. Not only the world, but our world, because now we are focusing in on something that has captivated our minds, our body. Attention is an embodied activity. So watch how the text starts out here in verse number 16, because from verse 13 to 15, he's talking about attentive awareness. Now in 16 to 19, he's going to talk about amative awareness. When we talk about amity or being amorous, we talk about loving, being tenderly and kindly disposed towards someone. Amative awareness has to do with a loving awareness where our focus is on sacrifice. Our focus is on giving up something, letting something go, releasing something. And so the question in verse 16 to verse 19 is, what does amative awareness of sacrifice look like? What does amative awareness look like? When we express amative awareness, it will show up in the reality of our sacrifice of stuff, things, and people. That's why verse 16 starts out and says, according to the riches of his grace, the riches of God's grace in Christ, God's mercy in Christ, according to the riches of his glory, he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in your inner being. Now, he has just come off of an introduction to this prayer where he is bending the knee before God the Father. I bow my knees before the originator and the creator of everything, the one who is the initiator of thoughts and ideas. I bow my knee before the Father. And it is from before the Father that every family takes its cue. The Father initiates this concept and is the prototype of every fatherhood that exists on the planet. And he's the prototype of the family, for the family. Verse 15 says, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named. God has an earthly family and he has a heavenly family. And it is in that vein that Paul prays that according to the riches of this source of all being, according to the riches of his glory. What's the riches of his glory all about? Well, according to the reserves that God possesses, the reserves of his rocking up in your life, his appearing in your life. That's what his glory is about. Making his splendor apparent. That according to the reserves of his appearing in you, he may install what? Strength. He may install what? Power. It says that he may install strength with power. That he may grant to you to be strengthened with power. God is at work in you so that you can live a powerful life. A life where power is functioning at strength in your innermost being. That he may strengthen you with power. How? Through his Spirit. Through his influence in your life. He influences you through his Spirit. His Spirit is a person, a personal presence inside of you. To strengthen you with power through his influence inside of you. So God is at work to unleash his power at strength in your innermost being. Now, why is this so needful? Because he knows that it takes nothing short of resurrection power for you and I to let go of our ego attachments, because it's going to cost sacrifice. What is sacrifice? It is personal, it is voluntary, and it is a release of that which you are holding on to. It will take nothing short of resurrection power for you to be able to do that. And that's why he provides the energizing in you and through you. Why? Verse 17, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. So that Christ may be at home in your heart. The word for dwell means to be at home inside of. So that the appointed one, He is the Christ, may reside in you, inside of you, in the center of your control room, because that is what your heart is. He dwells in your heart, the control center of your life. How does he dwell there? Through continuity of connection. He dwells there through faith. Christ is at home in your heart because of your constant continuity of connection with him. So that you, being rooted and grounded in love, you are rooted and grounded. You are being counterbalanced. That's the word I would use. You are rooted. You are counterbalanced. You have equilibrium. Have you ever tried to balance a broomstick on your finger? The only way you can do that is when you focus your attention to the top of the broomstick. And as you focus your attention there, you're able to counterbalance whatever the stick or the pole is doing on your finger. In whichever way it tumbles or tends to fall, you counteract the fall. You are counterbalancing the stick on your finger, so that Christ may dwell in your control room through continuity of contact, because you are rooted and grounded in love. You are counterbalanced and you are conscious in the realm of the affordance of choice. You are rooted and grounded in love. What does it mean to be rooted and grounded in love? Well, if love is the affordance of choice, God gives you optionality to choose. He grants you that freedom to choose. That's how big he is. He doesn't have to have you function as a robot, as an automaton, in robotic obedience, as a puppeteer is to a puppet is to a puppeteer. The puppeteer is controlling the movements through strings that are attached to his hands and fingers. Well, God gives you the affordance of choice so that you are not a puppet on a string. You aren't functioning like a puppet on a string. But because Christ is at home in your innermost being, through your continuity of contact, that's what faith is. Ultimate care, continuity of contact with the ground of all being. He's none other than God himself. Here it is Christ in you. You are being rooted and grounded in the realm of choices. You can make choices because Christ is at home in your heart. There is so much here as we guide and glide through the text that it is hard not to pause, just to catch your breath as to what Paul is saying. He says that expressing loving awareness, amative awareness inside of reality is going to cost you. It's going to cost you nothing short of sacrifice. And that's why you need to be rooted and grounded in love, counterbalanced and conscious that you have choices, because that is what love grants you. It gives you the affordance of choice. I can choose. And some choices I make are going to be good. Some of them are not going to be so good. Where are you postured this morning? In amative awareness, loving awareness that it will cost you. It will cost you sacrifice. It's going to cost you in your walk with God as you look to him. To be rooted and grounded in him. To be strategically counterbalanced and experiencing balance in your life. Let me close out with this thought. The older you grow, the more balance becomes a problem. If you are sickly and you are not fit and you're given to a buzz in your head, what gets thrown out of sync? It's your balance. That's why older folk are given to falling so often. And it's a very dangerous thing to fall because you can hurt yourself. You can fracture your hips, fracture your bones. Your bones become brittle. That is why I need in the spirit world, I need to be counterbalanced. I need to be rooted and grounded in Christ because He allows me the affordance of choice, because my balance has checks and balances so that I don't keep tottering and tumbling through life from one crisis to the next. I have balance on the way because I'm a follower of the way. It's called Wu Wei. It's called actionless action because I'm moving in the flow of reality. Oh, what a wonderful place to be. To be moving in the flow of reality, because reality comes at you like a runaway train, like a runaway truck. It doesn't come at you in faculties, in disciplined, organized ways. It comes at you 100 miles an hour. And how do you engage with reality? Well, you need to be rooted and grounded in love, because love is what gives you the affordance of choice, making the right choices when reality flows, so that you can be in sync with what God is doing in your life. Have you woken up in sync with what God is about to do in your life this morning? Or are you still in the fourth stage of anesthesia? Still trying to wake up and make sense that what you taste and what you smell and what you perceive is really real. I trust that as you wake up, you will show up and clean up and rock up with an excitement for what God has to do in your life next, for what He's about to unleash in your life next. Live life on the balls of your feet this morning as you anticipate what He is about to do. He's about to, in a sense, yes, rock your world. And oh, how scared we are for Him to rock our world. I trust that you will enjoy the Lord as you go with God this morning. Goodbye for now.